Wednesday. My name is Jonah Lusis. I'm a naturopathic doctor, and today I'm going to be talking to you about natural flu prevention strategies. Now, this is a follow-up video to a video that we posted last week. Last week we were talking about the flu vaccine in response to the question we get most often at the office this time of year is, should I use the flu vaccine? And the things that we talked about last time were 3 out of the 4, let's say, decision points that people use when making any decision, even if they're not really aware that they're making them. The first is, what are the risks of not taking, in this case, the flu vaccine? The second is this thing, in this case, the flu vaccine, effective? The third thing is this thing, in this case, the flu vaccine, safe? And the last thing that we'll talk about today is, what are my alternatives? So for that other stuff, you can check our video from last week, but today we're going to talk about natural flu prevention strategies. Now, to be completely clear, there's no natural alternative to a vaccine. A vaccine has a very specific way of working, and there's certainly nothing that I know of that mimics that. So basically, vaccines work by preparing an antibody response in your body in advance of being exposed to something, and then when your body is exposed to that thing, it's ready to respond to it right away. But there are a lot of other ways that you can protect yourself against flu and against basically any other infection. Probably the simplest and most widely accepted one is washing your hands. That protects you not only against flu, but against every type of infection. So the things that we're going to talk about for the rest of this video are herbs that will help you to protect against flu. Plants have over 100 pharmacological actions in the body, and about 40% of prescription medications are actually synthesized from plant materials. So plants do have the ability to trigger significant effects in the way that your body is working. But with regard to flu prevention, there are probably 2 things that you're looking for. One is you're looking for herbs that are antiviral, because the flu is a virus. And the other is you're looking for herbs that are immune modulating or immune stimulating. Apropos of the flu vaccine, actually, the flu vaccine has been shown to be more effective in people who have a robust immune response. So in that regard, you can actually use these herbs if you're planning to get the flu vaccine in order to get a better response from the flu vaccine. So there are any number of herbs that can be used to prevent flu that are antiviral or that stimulate immune system activity. We're just going to talk about 4 here. And the interesting thing about herbs is that they are kind of nuanced in their use. There's not just kind of an antiviral, but different herbs will be useful for different types of infections. Now, the first one that most people are familiar with is echinacea, but you need to be aware that there are several species of echinacea. And probably the most useful one for prevention of infection, certainly flu infection, is a species called Echinacea angustifolia. And when you're using the plant, you want to be using a product that's made from the root. And if you're using a product that's a pill or a standardized extract, as they're called, you want it to be standardized to a chemical group called alkylamides. Now, garlic is another herb that is used for infections. It's used for digestive infections, but also, or let's say the main use for it is respiratory infections. So respiratory infections, the flu is a respiratory tract infection. So garlic would be a good plant to use. You can eat it preventatively, but really to get a robust effect, you need to use it as a standardized extract. And in this case, the standardized extract should be standardized to a chemical called alli. Another herb that's very useful is one called golden seal. Now, golden seal itself is useful for infections at the mucous membrane. So the mucous membrane is the pink skin that you find inside your nose and inside your mouth. And the symptoms that you would see there are things like sore throat and runny nose. So these are symptoms of flu. And golden seal is a really strong herb for that type of an infection. Now, the last one that I'm going to talk about is St. John's wort. St. John's wort is antiviral or antimicrobial against what are described as enveloped viruses. And without going into a lot of detail, the flu is an enveloped virus. So St. John's wort would be a useful herb to prevent or to fight the flu. So you can see that it's actually pretty complicated to choose products. So those are 4 things you want to look for on the label, or 4 types of products that you want to look up for on the label. But we're going to take the unusual step now of talking about specific products, because if you can get your hands on these, this will just cut through all that other stuff I talk about. Generally, when we have videos, we don't talk about specific products because that's just not really the thing we do. But in this case, as you heard, it's pretty complicated to find good quality herbal medicine products. It's not the same as just going to the store and buying an aspirin. So to that end, these products are fairly difficult to find, but if you can find them, go for it. The first 2, I just wanted to bring your attention more to the brand than to anything else, but they're from a company called MediHerb. One is an echinacea product and one is a garlic product. But MediHerb has really great quality control, and they really understand herbal medicine, so anything you get from MediHerb is going to be great. MediHerb is supposed to be available only through a naturopathic doctor's care, but some health stores carry it, and if you're able to get it from them, then it's a good recommendation. These two products are available only through naturopathic doctors, so this comment is directed more at people who are seeing a naturopathic doctor. These are from a company called Viriditas Herbal Products. One is called Children and Adults Cold and Flu Elixir. That has a pretty obvious use. And the other is called Herbal First Defense. Herbal First Defense is for that moment when you get that tickle in your throat and you feel like, you know what, tomorrow I'm either going to wake up sick or I'm not going to wake up sick. And Herbal First Defense will help you to not wake up sick tomorrow. Now, a final comment is that our office does offer a flu clinic, which is really just a 1 hour, one-off appointment where we can talk to you about flu prevention strategies, more specifically for you and your family, lifestyle changes that would be effective for you, and herbal medicines that might be the right fit for you. The link for that is below. So, thanks for watching. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week.